Last month, you introduced Assembly Bill 367, the Menstrual Equity for All Act of 2021. And this bill requires that state universities and community college campuses in California, also grades 6 through 12 public schools and state, local, municipal buildings provide menstrual products. Can you give us an update on that bill and where it currently stands?
Yeah, the bill left appropriations last week and it's on the assembly floor. And I think on Thursday, it'll be eligible for me to take it up and send it to the Senate. So it's about halfway through the process for this year. When we introduced the bill, it included all publicly owned buildings. So it included things like state capitals, any government buildings, parks, and it's been narrowed down to just educational settings now, which is still great. But I would like to see menstrual products in all bathrooms everywhere, just like we see toilet paper.
Absolutely. Us too. We agree. So in 2017, you actually had legislation signed into law, and that bill brought free menstrual products to low-income schools and underserved communities. And later, you even helped repeal the tax charged on menstrual health products. As a result of all of this work in menstrual equity, you've proclaimed yourself the period princess, which I just love. And so I want to know, why is menstrual equity an important issue for you?
So I introduced my first bill was AB 1531 or 1561. Oh my God, it's been I think 6 years when I did the first one to get rid of the tax. And it was literally, I was just angry that I was being taxed for my biology. I'd always been angry. I wanted to do the bill when I first got here 9 years ago. And my team was like, hold up, people are gonna make fun of you. Like, they don't know you yet. And so after a couple of years of being here, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, I have a pedestal. I'm gonna use it for things that I want. And so introduced my first bill, and we legislate on experience, but that bill and that discussion became bigger than I could have ever imagined. And, it's been amazing. It's been a discussion with a lot of people, but it's been mostly young people. And so it's been amazing to see their passion and their ability to share stories and educate us along the way. And so for me, it's not just about increasing access, but just how we talk about our biology, how we stigmatize things, and for half of the population who menstruates, oftentimes it's women, but it's not just women who menstruate out there, and how something that's so natural and should be celebrated, because it also means that this is how we reproduce, we've allowed it to be something so negative and something that's deemed dirty in so many places. To me, it's just crazy. And so it's evolved along the way, in large part from conversations, with young individuals out there that I've had the luxury to have.
Well, we're really grateful for all of your hard work in this. So as you know, this is menstrual hygiene. Menstrual hygiene day is Friday, but we're celebrating all week at Days for Girls. And we are focusing our campaign this week on male allyship. And we were wondering how you think male allyship plays a key role in advancing menstrual equity.
Well, I'll start with just in the legislature. We people who menstruate are less than 35% of the legislators. We legislate on experience. And so in this case, for a lot of the men in the legislature, they don't menstruate. A lot of the women or individuals that menstruate in their lives don't talk about it, hide it from them. And so they're not thinking about it, but they hold a lot of power out there. And so they do need to be our allies. They need to let us lead the discussion and they need to engage in that discussion, but then they need to use their power and harness their power to ensure that our desires and our needs, are being addressed and legislation continues to move forward. And so I think that I always tell folks, how can you use your soapbox to elevate the issue? And they have a large soapbox. They have a lot of power in our world. And so how do they elevate that and elevate it in a way where instead of themselves speaking up, they take their soapbox and give that space to someone who could share an experience, related to this topic or any topic for that matter.
So do you have any advice for women who are seeking the support of male allies in their menstrual health policy and advocacy efforts?
I think just talk to them about it, right? Most of us, with our male allies, they either have a sister, a wife, daughters, grandmothers. And so I think it's reminding them about those menstruators in their lives, and asking them if they've thought about it, or sharing our own personal stories. I think that goes a really long way. I think there's some initial uncomfortableness, but I think when you start talking about it and what it means to you, or the lanes you've gone to when you don't have access to a product, or your biology suddenly surprises you, what that means and what you had to do or what you had to stop doing in order to deal with that, I think it goes a long way. And so, I think there's power in our stories. There's powers in sharing that out there, and there's power, I think, in that we also bring down the barriers with each of those conversations out there. And so, I would just encourage individuals to have a discussion with the males in their lives. And I think most of them, when they're talking to you, will become your allies. I think they might start off maybe by being uncomfortable, making jokes about it. But I think when you humanize a discussion, and it's with someone that they trust, that they love, it's the best way to bring down those barriers.
Love it. And my final question is, I know you're bringing Bill 367 to the floor, hopefully this week, but what else is next for you as you advocate for women's rights and equality in California?
So in the menstrual equity space, I think we're going to keep working to try to ensure that these products are available in all bathrooms, just like toilet paper. I think we also need to be talking about the fact that there's different types of products, and picking the product that's best for you. I started by calling myself the tampon queen, and it came because when I first started in the space, I got called lots of nasty things and lots of jokes at my expense. But one day I said, I'm just gonna have fun with this, and so I'm gonna call myself the tampon queen who doesn't want to be a queen of something. And in my discussions with young women, it was a young woman in particular, was like, there's all these products and you make it sound like that's the superior product, and it might be for you, but not for everyone. And so change my title to Period Princess, and take the opportunity to talk about the fact that there's cups out there, there's sponges, there's underwear, there's reusable pads like like you have, there's a variety of things. It's like, pick the product that's best for you. But I think it's also like, how do we start having a discussion about making sure that we are picking items that are also going to be good for our environment. And so reusable stuff, or I always talk to folks about to think about the plastic in our applicators for a lot of these tampons, and that's rich in plastic, and what that does to the environment, and how sustainable that is. And so I hope we could elevate that discussion along the way. I do a lot of work in the sphere of elevating women. I'm the chair of the California Legislative Women's Caucus again this year. And so I do a lot of work around menstrual equity, but also a lot of work around consent, a lot of work around leadership, about electing more women or having more women on boards out there. And so I'm going to continue to use my soapbox in the space to do that, and along the way elevate and put the spotlight on women who are breaking down barriers and being leaders and role models, and making sure that we're inclusive of that representation.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf of Days for Girls International, we thank you for all of your hard work. We're watching and cheering you on.
Thank you guys for all that you do out there for individuals. Really appreciate you.
You're welcome. If we can ever be of service, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. Bye-bye.